A man once asked a philosopher why some people seem to grow wiser, calmer, and more successful with age, while others remain stuck in the exact same patterns for decades. The philosopher looked at him and said something simple but powerful. Because some people spend their years training their mind, while others spend their years distracting it. And honestly, that one sentence explains more about life than most people realize. I want you to think about your own life for a moment. Think about how many hours disappear every single day without you even noticing. Hours spent scrolling, reacting, consuming noise, worrying about things you cannot control, or simply distracting yourself because focusing deeply has become difficult. Now imagine if just a small portion of those hours had been invested into learning, reflecting, improving your thinking, or developing your skills consistently over the years. Your life would probably look completely different right now. And that is exactly what the 5-hour rule is about. It is the idea of spending at least 5 intentional hours every week, learning something meaningful that improves your mind and your life. Roughly 1 hour a day dedicated to growth. At first, that sounds almost too simple. Most people hear it and immediately think bigger changes require bigger actions. But the truth is, real transformation rarely happens dramatically. It happens quietly through repeated habits that slowly shape the person you become. Modern psychology supports this deeply. The brain constantly adapts to whatever it repeatedly experiences. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity, which simply means your mind changes based on what you consistently expose it to. So if your daily routine mostly consists of distractions, negativity, shallow entertainment, and mental overstimulation, eventually your brain adapts to distraction itself. Focus becomes harder, patience becomes weaker, deep thinking starts disappearing. And honestly, you can already see this happening everywhere. People struggle to sit quietly for even a few minutes without checking their phone. Attention spans are shrinking. Minds are constantly overloaded. Everybody is consuming information, but very few people are truly learning. Ancient philosophers warned about this long before modern technology existed. Seneca once wrote that people waste their lives chasing meaningless distractions while neglecting the development of their own mind. Thousands of years later, that truth still feels painfully relevant. The dangerous thing about constant distraction is that it does not destroy your life immediately. It happens slowly, quietly, day after day. One wasted hour feels harmless until years pass and you realize your mind has been surviving instead of growing. And honestly, many people are not lacking intelligence. They are lacking intentional learning. There is a difference. Intelligence without growth eventually becomes stagnation. I want you to think about the people who inspire you most. The calm thinkers, the disciplined leaders, the people who seem mentally sharp and emotionally grounded. Most of them share one habit: they never stop learning. People like Warren Buffett famously spend hours every single day reading and studying because they understand something powerful. Your mind is either expanding or slowly becoming weaker through neglect. Even Bill Gates became known for taking think weeks, where he would completely isolate himself from distractions just to read, reflect, and develop new ideas. That level of intentional thinking changes the way a person sees the world. And honestly, that is what many people are missing today. They want transformation without reflection. They want success without growth. They want confidence without training their mind first. But your mind shapes everything. The way you think affects your discipline, your emotional control, your decisions, your relationships, and even your future opportunities. The 5-hour rule is not really about reading books alone. It is about becoming intentional with your mental growth instead of allowing the world to constantly program your thinking for you. Because if you are not intentionally feeding your mind wisdom, knowledge, and deeper understanding, then distractions will eventually take control by default. I think one of the saddest things in life is watching someone with enormous potential slowly become mentally passive because they stopped challenging themselves to grow. And honestly, growth can feel uncomfortable at first. Deep learning requires focus. Reflection forces you to confront your habits. Self-improvement demands patience. That is why many people avoid it without even realizing they are avoiding it. Distraction feels easier because it gives instant stimulation without requiring effort. But the problem is that constant stimulation slowly weakens your ability to think deeply about your own life. I want you to notice something. The moments that truly change people are usually moments where they encounter a new idea that completely shifts their perspective. One sentence, one book, one lesson, one realization. Sometimes that is all it takes. That is why consistent learning matters so much. Every time you expose yourself to wisdom, your mind gains another opportunity to evolve beyond its current limitations. And slowly by slowly, your thinking begins changing. You become less reactive, more thoughtful, more disciplined, more emotionally aware. Not because life suddenly became easier, but because your mind became stronger. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself through writing that the quality of a person's life depends heavily on the quality of their thoughts. That idea still matters deeply today, because many people spend years trying to change their external life without ever improving. The mindset that keeps recreating the same struggles internally. The truth is, your habits shape your future quietly. What you repeatedly do with your attention eventually becomes your reality. And attention is one of the most valuable forms of power you have. That is why the 5-hour rule is really an investment into your future self. Every hour you spend learning compounds over time in ways you cannot immediately see. 1 hour may not feel life-changing today, but 1 hour every day for 5 years can completely transform your mindset, your communication skills, your emotional intelligence, and your opportunities. I want you to stop underestimating small, consistent actions simply because they do not create immediate results. Most meaningful growth in life happens invisibly before it becomes visible. A tree does not become strong overnight. Its roots deepen quietly beneath the surface long before anybody notices its growth. Human beings are not much different. Keep learning even when nobody praises you for it. Keep reading even when progress feels invisible. Keep strengthening your mind even when distractions around you seem easier and more entertaining. Because slowly by slowly, your consistency builds something powerful inside you. Mental clarity, self-respect, discipline, patience, confidence, and wisdom. And honestly, one of the greatest benefits of learning is that it changes how you handle difficult seasons of life. A trained mind stays calmer under pressure because it has learned how to think instead of simply react emotionally. That is why personal growth is not just about becoming smarter. It is about becoming more emotionally stable, more intentional, and more capable of navigating life wisely. So today, I want you to stop asking whether 1 hour is enough to change your life. Instead, ask yourself what happens if you spend the next 5 years neglecting your mind completely. Because the cost of mental stagnation is enormous. Opportunities become missed, confidence weakens, creativity fades. Life begins feeling repetitive because your thinking never evolves. But the beautiful thing is that it is never too late to start training your mind differently. 1 hour today can become a completely different future tomorrow if you stay consistent long enough. So as this video slowly comes to an end, I want you to remember something important. Your future is not only shaped by the big decisions you make, it is shaped by the small daily habits you repeat when nobody is watching. Protect your mind, feed it wisdom, train it consistently. And slowly by slowly, you will become someone who thinks more clearly, lives more intentionally, and approaches life with a level of discipline and awareness that most people never develop. If this message spoke to you, make sure to comment below. Share this video with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more deep life lessons and mindset conversations.